You ever like stop and think about how your brain just like makes connections,
Yeah.
between all these random bits of information?
It's incredible, isn't it?
That's what understanding is,
Yeah.
and AI is starting to kind of get there.
Yeah.
So today's deep dive
That's really cool.
is all about ontologies
Yeah.
and knowledge graphs.
Yeah.
And basically, like, those are the tools that are helping AI to think more like us, connecting the dots in all this data.
Yeah, it's not just about like storing information anymore. It's about giving AI the ability to like actually grasp the meaning, see the big picture and like answer these like complex questions that would just leave a regular search engine totally stumped.
Yeah, that sounds pretty next level. So, okay, ontologies and knowledge graphs.
Yeah.
What are they exactly? How are they connected?
Well, imagine like you're building this massive, intricate like Lego structure.
Okay.
You'd need like a blueprint to kind of guide you, right?
Right.
And that's kind of what an ontology is.
Okay.
It's like a blueprint for knowledge.
Got it.
It defines like the categories and the relationships and the rules
that
govern how all the information is organized.
So the ontology is the plan.
Exactly.
The guiding principle.
Yeah.
What about the knowledge graph itself?
So the knowledge graph is the actual like structure built from those Legos.
Right.
It's like the realization of that blueprint.
Okay.
And it's like a web of these interconnected nodes representing entities like people or places or concepts, and then all linked together by edges that represent the relationship.
So it's like a giant interconnected map of information.
Exactly.
Okay.
And just like you can navigate a map to find your way, AI can use a knowledge graph to navigate the world of information and like understand the connections between all the different pieces of data.
Now, I've heard that even like search engines are starting to use knowledge graphs behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Really?
Totally. So like when you type a query into Google, for example, it's not just like matching keywords anymore. Yeah. It's actually like tapping into this vast knowledge graph to understand like the meaning behind your search.
Okay.
And deliver like more relevant results.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like search results have gotten smarter over the years.
Definitely. Yeah.
But, okay, back to ontologies for a sec.
Yeah.
Can you give me like a real world example of how they work?
Sure. Let's say you're building a knowledge graph about like scientific research.
Okay.
Your ontology would define like the classes, like scientist, research paper, university.
Right.
It would also like specify the relationships, like authored by connecting scientists and research papers or affiliated with connecting scientists to universities.
So it's not just like a random collection of facts.
Exactly. It's like a structured, interconnected system.
Based on those clearly defined relationships.
Precisely. And that's where it gets really interesting. Those relationships, they're not just for like organization. They actually allow AI to infer new information that isn't like explicitly stated.
So it's like AI is like drawing its own conclusions.
Yeah, exactly.
So can you give me an example of how AI might like infer something using a knowledge graph?
Yeah. So let's go back to our like scientific research example.
Okay.
So if the knowledge graph like knows that a certain scientist is affiliated with a particular university, and that university is known for research in a specific field, the AI can like infer that the scientist is probably involved in that field of research, even if it's not directly stated like in their profile or anything.
Oh, that's like AI connecting the dots.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's really cool.
Wow. I can see how this could be like incredibly valuable for all sorts of applications.
Yeah, absolutely. And like the implications go way beyond just like improving search results.
Right.
You're talking about like transforming how AI interacts with and understands the world. And opening up all these possibilities for everything from like personalized medicine to scientific discovery.
Yeah, this is starting to feel really mind-blowing. So, okay, we've got ontologies as the blueprints, knowledge graphs as the structures built from them. How do they actually work together to answer these like complex questions?
Well, remember how I mentioned like a knowledge graph is kind of like a map?
Yeah.
So imagine you want to find like all the restaurants in a city that serve like a specific cuisine. You wouldn't just like randomly search every street.
No, you'd use the map to like narrow down your search to the areas that are most likely to have what you're looking for.
Exactly. And that's what knowledge graphs allow AI to do.
Okay.
They provide this structured framework for navigating information,
right.
Allowing the AI to like efficiently find answers to even the most complex questions.
So it's not just about like having a lot of data.
Right.
It's about having that data organized in a way that makes it truly useful.
Precisely. And ontologies play this like critical role
Yeah.
in ensuring that organization,
right.
creating this like consistent and meaningful structure
Yeah.
that allows AI to actually like extract insights and make those all important connections.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we've established that ontologies are like the brains behind the knowledge graph, making sure everything is organized and makes sense.
Right.
But what I'm really curious about is how they actually help AI understand the meaning behind the data.
Okay.
Not just like the structure.
Yeah, that's where the true power of ontologies really comes in.
Okay.
It's not just about organizing data points. It's about capturing that richness of human knowledge and reasoning.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Yeah.
How do they achieve that deeper level of understanding?
Well, one key function is what's called conceptual modeling.
Okay.
Think of it as like defining a common language for AI to interpret concepts.
So it's like teaching AI like the vocabulary and the grammar of a specific domain of knowledge.
Precisely. So let's say we're dealing with like medical data.
Okay.
The ontology would define what diagnosis means.
Right.
What different types of symptoms exist, and how those concepts relate to diseases.
So instead of just seeing a jumble of medical terms,
Yeah.
the AI can actually understand the relationships between them and grasp the meaning of like a patient's medical record.
Exactly. And that deeper understanding is crucial for things like diagnosis, treatment recommendations, and even like drug discovery.
Now we live in a world where data is like scattered everywhere, often in different formats, using different terminology.
Right.
Well, how do ontologies address this challenge?
Well, that's where data integration comes in. Okay. And ontologies act as like a universal translator, bringing together data from all these diverse sources and like aligning them into this cohesive knowledge graph.
So even if one database uses the term client and another one uses customer, the ontology ensures that the AI understands that they refer to the same concept.
Precisely.
Okay.
That ability to unify disparate data is like essential for getting a complete picture and avoiding inconsistencies.
You know, it's funny. We often talk about the challenges of like data silos in organizations.
Yeah.
But it seems like ontologies could be the key to like breaking down those silos.
Absolutely.
And unlocking the true value of all that data.
You're absolutely right. Ontologies provide this shared language and framework that enables different systems to communicate and collaborate, even if they were built with different technologies or for different purposes.
This is all starting to sound incredibly powerful, but let's get even more specific.
Yeah.
Can you walk me through an example of how a knowledge graph guided by an ontology might answer a complex question?
Absolutely. Let's imagine you're a researcher investigating the potential of like a new drug.
Okay.
You might ask the knowledge graph. Find all the clinical trials involving this, the research institutions conducting them, and any published papers analyzing the results.
That's a pretty involved query.
It is.
How would the knowledge graph tackle that?
Well, using the ontology as a guide, the knowledge graph can identify the relevant entities. So the drug, the clinical trials, the research institutions, the publications, and then navigate the relationships between them.
So it's like having a research assistant.
Exactly.
Who can instantly sift through mountains of data and connect the dots for you.
That's a great analogy. And the beauty of it is that the knowledge graph can do this at a scale and speed that will be impossible for any human.
Yeah. So this is all starting to feel pretty futuristic. Yeah. But are there any real-world applications of this technology that are happening right now?
Absolutely. Knowledge graphs are already being used in a bunch of different industries, from healthcare and finance to e-commerce and entertainment.
Can you give me some specific examples? I'm like dying to know how this is all playing out.
Sure. So in healthcare, knowledge graphs are helping to personalize treatment plans by connecting patient data with the latest medical research.
So it's like having a doctor who has access to all the relevant information about your specific condition.
Exactly.
And can tailor your treatment accordingly.
Exactly. And in finance, knowledge graphs are being used to detect fraud by analyzing patterns of transactions and identifying anomalies that might indicate like suspicious activity.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
It seems like knowledge graphs are already making a real difference.
They are.
In some pretty important areas.
Yeah, and this is really just the beginning.
Okay.
As knowledge graphs continue to evolve and become more sophisticated, we can expect to see even more innovative applications emerge in the years to come.
This is all incredibly exciting, but I have to admit, I'm also a little bit intimidated by like the sheer scale and complexity of it all.
It's understandable to feel that way.
Yeah.
But remember, ontologies are designed to make this complexity manageable.
Okay.
They provide a framework for understanding and navigating knowledge even as it grows and evolves.
That's reassuring to hear.
Yeah.
So ontologies are not just about organizing data, they're about empowering us to make sense of it.
Exactly.
And use it to our advantage.
Right.
But I'm curious,
yeah.
How do ontologies actually enable AI to reason and make inferences?
That's a great question. And it really gets to the heart of what makes ontologies so powerful.
Huh?
They go beyond just like storing information to actually encoding the rules of logic and reasoning that underpin human knowledge.
Okay, so how do they do that? What are like the mechanisms at play here?
Well, one key mechanism is called subsumption.
Okay.
And it's all about understanding hierarchical relationships between concepts. For example, knowing that cat is a type of mammal allows the AI to infer that cats share certain characteristics with other mammals.
So it's like teaching AI to recognize that a cat is more than just a furry creature.
Exactly.
It's part of a larger category with specific properties and behaviors.
Exactly. And that ability to understand hierarchies is crucial for reasoning and inference.
Okay.
For example, if the AI knows that all mammals have lungs, and it knows that a cat is a mammal, it can infer that a cat also has lungs.
Okay.
Even if that fact isn't explicitly stated in the knowledge graph.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So it's like AI is learning to think logically
yeah.
and draw conclusions based on the information it has.
Precisely. And that's just one example of how ontologies enable AI to reason.
Okay.
Another key mechanism is satisfaction,
Okay.
which is about checking whether a concept logically fits within the model.
Could you give me an example of how satisfaction might work in practice?
Sure. Let's say our ontology states that all birds can fly. If we then tried to add the concept of a penguin to our knowledge graph, the ontology would flag this as a potential inconsistency. Because penguins are birds that cannot fly.
So it's like having a built-in fact checker.
Exactly.
That ensures that the knowledge graph remains consistent and accurate.
Exactly. And that ability to enforce logical constraints is essential for maintaining the integrity of the knowledge graph and ensuring that the AI's reasoning is sound.
It's amazing to think that we're teaching AI to think logically and critically about the world.
That is pretty cool.
But I'm curious, with all this talk about reasoning and inference, are we getting close to creating AI that can truly think for itself?
Well, that's a question that philosophers and computer scientists have been grappling with for decades. While ontologies and knowledge graphs represent this significant leap forward in AI's ability to reason and understand, there's still a long way to go before we reach true artificial general intelligence.
So we're not quite at the point where AI can write a novel or compose a symphony?
Not yet.
Okay.
But who knows what the future holds? The field of AI is constantly evolving, and ontologies are playing this critical role in pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
This has been an incredible deep dive into the world of ontologies and knowledge graphs.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how they're not just technical tools.
Yeah.
They're like a fundamental shift in how we think about knowledge and intelligence.
I agree. Ontologies are laying the groundwork for a future where AI can truly understand and interact with the world in a meaningful way.
It's like mind-boggling to think about all the potential applications we've talked about.
Yeah.
But I think what really strikes me is how ontologies are like pushing AI beyond just processing data. To actually understanding it.
Yeah, that's the key, right? We're moving from a world of like information retrieval to a world of knowledge comprehension. And that opens up like a whole new realm of possibilities.
Yeah. So for our listener who might be wondering, like, how does all of this translate to my daily life? What's like the big takeaway here?
Well, imagine a world where your search engine doesn't just give you a list of websites, but actually understands what you're looking for and gives you like tailored answers. Or imagine like personalized recommendations for everything from products to medical treatments, based on a deep understanding of like your individual needs and preferences.
It's like having a personal AI assistant who can anticipate your needs and help you navigate all the like complexities of the world around you.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. And the cool thing is that this technology is already starting to impact our lives in these subtle but profound ways.
Can you give me like some concrete examples? I'm sure our listeners are eager to hear like how this is all playing out in the real world.
Sure. So think about the recommendations you get on like streaming services or online shopping platforms. They're increasingly powered by knowledge graphs that understand your tastes and preferences. Connecting you with content and products that you're more likely to enjoy.
So no more like endless scrolling through irrelevant suggestions, AI that actually gets me. Sign me up.
Yeah, exactly. And in healthcare, knowledge graphs are being used to develop personalized treatment plans by connecting patient data with the latest medical research.
So it's like having a doctor who has access to all the relevant information about your specific condition and can tailor your treatment accordingly.
Exactly. Something that was previously only available to like a select few. Right. And the potential goes way beyond these examples. We're talking about like revolutionizing education, scientific discovery, and even how we interact with our cities and communities.
Wow. It sounds like we're on the verge of a truly transformative era. Where knowledge is like seamlessly integrated into our daily lives.
I believe we are. And ontologies are at the heart of this transformation, providing the framework for a more intelligent, more interconnected, and ultimately more human-centered world.
Yeah, this has been an incredible deep dive. And I have to say, I'm feeling like a mix of excitement and awe at the sheer scale and potential of this technology.
Yeah, I share your enthusiasm. It's a really fascinating field. And I'm constantly amazed by the ingenuity and creativity of the researchers and developers who are pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
But as we've discussed, there are also like challenges and ethical considerations that we need to address as this technology continues to evolve.
Absolutely. It's crucial that we develop ontologies and knowledge graphs responsibly, ensuring fairness, transparency, and accountability in their design and implementation.
So for our listener, as you encounter knowledge graphs in your daily life, maybe through smarter search results or more personalized recommendations. Remember that there's this whole world of ontologies working behind the scenes, shaping how AI understands and interacts with the world.
Exactly. And remember that this technology is still in its early stages. The possibilities are truly limitless. And it's up to all of us to shape the future of knowledge and intelligence.
That's a powerful thought to leave us with.
It is.
As always, we encourage you to continue exploring and stay curious.
Oh, absolutely.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to unlock the next breakthrough in the world of ontologies and knowledge graphs.
The future of knowledge is in our hands. Let's make it a bright one.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Okay.
Until next time, keep on diving deep.